YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I've been playing some Rome 2 Total War battles online actually today, doing some quick battles in patch 9 beta, just to kind of get a feel for what the game's going to be like, and obviously it's going to take a lot more battles than what I've done so far to really get a feel for how big of a change this patch is. But I just wanted to get a feel for what it does to multiplayer. Of course you're going to see what it does in campaign, because my campaigns are going to be ongoing. But something else amazing happened. I decided to watch the replay of one of my battles, and it worked. And not only did it work, I mean, it was dead accurate. I had a screenshot that I took after the battle was over of the results, and it was exactly the same, like down to the unit killing the men. So apparently the replays are fixed. So I'm extremely excited to bring you the Battle of Octoduran, which I played today. Now, this guy that I'm playing against had admitted to me that this was like his third game to play online. So, and I've only played, this is my first game in the patch 9 beta, so obviously I probably have some advantages coming in having played the game a lot. But it was going to be fun because this means that I had no idea what my opponent was going to bring, and he probably didn't know what to expect from me either. So let me show you his army first. Up front, he's got a couple of units of these Peltist. Pretty cool looking units. They have big shields, and you can see their stats here, so they're going to have good, fairly good ability to stop missiles with those shields, and they have a little bit of armor. Behind them, he's got a line of 4 hoplites, and you can see the new stats of these hoplite units here. Nothing fancy, but these guys can hold for a long time in a fight. Behind them, he's got 4 thorax swordsmen. These guys have pretty bad stats, and for the cost, I don't really find them to be worth it right now. They are going to get more kills than a hoplite, I believe, but I mean, they're not really all that great at the moment. At least the hoplites have a bonus versus large, and when you see that stat down there on the left, bonus versus large means they have a bonus versus cav and elephants. Then back here he's got 2 mercenary Cretan archers. These are actually pretty good units if used properly. Quite powerful. They have heavy shot and whistling shot as well. This flank he's got 2 Sarissa cavalry, which are light shock cav. Macedon is pretty lucky to have a light shock cav unit. It's kind of like a light cav that still has a decent charge. And it has trample, so it can double that charge. Over here he's got a couple of citizen cav, which are just pretty standard low-end melee cav. And then his general is over here in this shield bearer unit. In fact, I believe we can find his general. I think that's him. I think he's in the center of the unit. Let's see if we can spot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is his general right here. Yeah, that's his general with the feathers and stuff. Pretty cool. Looking good. I'm playing of Carthage as Carthage, of course, just to try and see how they fare in patch 9. My infantry line is, I believe it's 5 of these Libyan infantry. Here's their new stats here. Libyan infantry are actually just a little bit better than a Roman legionnaire, a standard legionnaire. However, the Romans still have access to Evocati cohorts, which are considerably better, but they do cost more. So at 690, this unit is actually just a little bit better than a standard Roman legionnaire. I've got 3 Cretan archers myself who are going to start skirmishing. I've got 2 African war elephants, 2 Carthaginian cav, and then I have a lot of, I have 4 late Libyan hoplites, which are just light hoplites, but they have a good bonus versus elephants and cav. And then back here I've got 3 Libyan javelinmen. These guys are very cheap and have a good attack. My general is in this noble cav. And let's see if I can spot my general. That's him right here. So there's my Carthaginian general. In any case, that's the armies. Let's get in close on some of this skirmishing, because it's a replay and I can finally get you lots of close-ups. Finally, the sounds and sights and everything are actually pretty cool, and it's unfortunate the replays have been busted for so long, and I'm assuming they're fixed. I've played it on 2 different replays and they turned out accurate, so unless there's some other units that are bugging them up, the replays appear to be working. Anyway, you can see my Cretan archers exchanging fire with some of his. The Cretan archers have their shield on their back. It's kind of interesting. It doesn't really help them from the front, but I don't know how you could hold a bow with 2 hands and a shield very easily either. Maybe if you go into melee, they pull their shield out front. I don't know. I've never tried that. If the shield was in front somehow, though, it would help them out. Because shields, of course, have the opportunity to block an incoming enemy projectile. I had 3 Cretan archers. He's got 2. So I'm pretty confidently just exchanging fire with him right now. In fact, you can see his guys here. I'm moving up to get a little bit better position. My opponent did start on the higher ground here in Octoduran. But right there, that was a devastating volley. I'm doing focus fire now, so I'll get up here close and let you see it. I'm not using heavy shot either. I'm just using standard shot. Standard shot reloads a little faster and is a little more accurate. And if you're firing against lightly armored units like other archers or skirmishers, light shot is a good one to go. If you're firing against heavier infantry with a lot of armor, then of course you want to switch over to heavy shot, but that decreases your range from 150 to 110. So something to be aware of. So let me show you what's going on in the overall map. I'm pushing my opponent's flank. I have an African war elephant supporting a Carthaginian cav on either flank. There's my skirmishers. I've decided to actually move my line of Libyan hoplites up front because my opponent doesn't have any significant cav threat. So I put them up front because these guys can hold his own hoplites for a long time. They've actually changed some of the battle mechanics in this patch, and the battles take a lot longer as far as the melee fighting. Unless there's a huge difference in the stats between two units, the fighting takes much longer. So it really has opened up the game to more cav maneuvering and strategic positioning and all kinds of other stuff that I'm extremely excited about. Anyway, yeah, got my Libyans. There's their stats. Very low attack, middle of the road weapon damage, excellent bonus versus large, decent charge bonus, decent melee defense, not great. Really good armor, though. That's the thing. These guys have really good armor for being as cheap as they are. Their morale is where it's dangerous, though. So over here, I had gotten a charge on his Sarissa Cav when he wasn't paying attention and just absolutely wiped it out and then chased him off. You can see the Sarissa Cav has a bonus versus large as well. These are actually supposed to be more anti-cav type units, whereas my Carthaginian Cav is really more anti-infantry type units. But the only anti-cav type cav that Carthage has is noble cav, and it costs 1150 now, which is a lot. So at 610, these Carthaginian cav are pretty good if you can keep them from getting charged. But they don't have that bonus versus large. So I like supporting them with elephants or infantry in order to help them gain the edge. So Carthage has also some the Iberian cav, which is still a fairly cost-effective light cav if it's used right. It would only be good into the back of infantry as well. They've changed a lot of mechanics, like I said. Well, in any case, you can see my opponent. He's pushing forward an attack on me. I'll kind of put the banners away for just a second so you can see how cool this looks. I was reforming my lines at the time, and I ended up deciding that... actually, I'll turn the banners on so you can kind of see what's happening. I realized what my opponent was doing, so I went ahead and put my guys into hoplite wall to absorb his charge. I'm in an inferior position here on the hill. My opponent has a downhill charge. And he actually catches my guys right before they're ready for the charge. So, but I think it still gave me the bracing bonus. His hoplites are better and have superior position. And you'll notice that I'm leaving my guys in formation attack as well. They've changed formation attack to where it's actually useful now. You should, if you want your guys to last longer, leave them in formation attack. If you want them to penetrate a little further on a charge, take them out of formation attack. But I would recommend leaving them in general. Check it out, I get a nice hammer and anvil charge on these hoplites with my noble cav. I didn't use trample yet though because I didn't want to exhaust my general, but it definitely did some serious damage to that hoplite unit. Well, I say that, killed about 10 or 11 guys. That was pretty resistant. And then I took off running after some of his peltists that were exposed. I basically know that this line of Libyans will hold for quite a while. So what I'm going to do is just bypass his hoplites, use my cavalry to destroy his support units, like this thorax swordsman that was supporting his flanks. These thorax swordsmen is what he should have used to attack me in the center, and he should have been supporting his flanks with the hoplites, because then I would have had a harder time breaking him with my elephants. So both my Carthaginian cav and my elephants will do just fine against thorax swordsmen, and then I bring in another rear charge with my general, who's doing some good stuff. On this flank, I've already mopped up his citizen cav. Now over here, I go ahead and engage his thorax swordsman. I meant to run this unit further over here so that I can go ahead and start back charges with my Libyan infantry, but I wasn't paying attention and my guys get caught in this blob. So I did make some mistakes there. And then over here, I think my opponent gets a clean charge on me while I was repositioning. His thorax swordsmen are coming downhill, but overall my Libyan infantry are superior units and ought to win this fight pretty handily. Got my peltist over here, or Libyan javelin men to support my swords if needed. And I just clicked an attack order against his own peltist, so you're going to see some of my javelins coming in and taking these guys out. Getting some nice kills there. My elephants are starting to mop up his scattered skirmishers. Fortunately, he didn't get any flaming rounds off on my elephants. And at this point, all my units are freed up to back charge his men, so this worked out exactly like I'd hoped it would. My Libyans held until I gained supremacy on the flanks, And here comes the painful back charge from my Carthaginian cav. So my Carthaginian cav getting those guys good. And then here comes my Libyan infantry as well from behind. They're going to hurl in their javelins and then make an infantry charge here. So these Macedonian hoplites completely surrounded now, and they're just going to get absolutely pummeled. My general's chasing down some Sarissa cav that reformed. He didn't notice that it had reformed. And apparently I never did use trample on my general because he's not exhausted. But yeah, I'm going to throttle that Sarissa cav. His hoplites are all dead, and the only thing that's left is his shield bearer, which was doing quite well until it took 2 units of war elephants in the back. There's not many units that can stand up to that. So one thing's for sure in this patch, the elephants are still very strong, and armored elephants are extremely strong. So if you're going to be up against potentially armored elephants, you have to bring some tool to deal with them, either a lot of skirmishers or your own armored elephants. You got to do something, because the armored elephants will destroy you. I have another video coming up soon that I'll show you all where I learned this lesson the hard way. So do not underestimate elephants still. Chariots are a little different. I'll get a chance to show them to you. They're not quite as strong as they used to be, but still potentially dangerous. But in any case, you can see here there was a lot different unit diversity. Now you'll notice the Macedonian player didn't take any pikes. And it's probably a good thing he didn't, because as I said in my overview video, pikes are even worse in this patch. A unit of my African or Libyan infantry here could probably cut down the better part, if not all, of a foot companion. Pikes are just bad. Unfortunately, they need some work still. Hopefully we can give those suggestions to CA and get them fixed, but otherwise this patch has been a massive improvement in gameplay, in my opinion. Anyway, and those are the results, the accurate results. So the second time I've played this replay, and it's been dead on accurate. That is amazing. Thank you, CA, for helping us out with this. I'm so excited to start showing these replay battles. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing off for now. I hope you all enjoyed it.